Welcome to Principles of Management. This lecture is looking at Chapter 5, Planning and Decision Making. The learning outcomes include discuss the benefits and pitfalls of planning, outline the steps for creating an effective plan, discuss how companies can use plans at all management levels from top to bottom, use the steps to avoid limits of rational decision making, explain how group decisions and group decision-making techniques can improve decision-making. Planning is choosing a goal and developing a method or strategy to achieve that goal. Planning offers several important benefits. It intensifies efforts where people are willing to work harder when they actually have a plan. Persistence, people will work harder for longer periods of time. Direction, people know what to do and what not to do. And task strategies, people are encouraged to find better ways to do their jobs. Planning works for both companies and individuals. Planning does have several pitfalls. Planning can impede change and prevent or slow the needed adaptations. Planning can create a false sense of certainty, and planners can become detached. It takes a long time to get good at making complex decisions based on plans. Planning brings about tremendous increase in individual and organizational performance. Poor planning can harm individual and organizational performances. The first step in planning is to set goals. SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. The second step in planning is to develop commitment to goals. Several methods help managers bring about goal commitment. The most popular approach is to set goals participatively, making goals that are more likely to be realistic and attainable. Make sure the goals are public, and top management can show support for a plan or program by providing funds, speaking publicly about the plan, or participating in the plan itself. The third step in planning is to develop an effective action plan. An action plan lists the specific steps, how, the people, who, the resources, what, and the time period, when, to accomplish the goals. The fourth step in planning is to track progress through goal achievement. There are two accepted methods of tracking progress. The first is to set proximal goals and distal goals, and the second is to gather and provide performance feedback. The last step in developing an effective plan is to maintain flexibility. Option-based planning keeps options open by making small, simultaneous investments in many alternative plans. Then when one or a few of these plans emerge as the likely winner, you invest even more in these plans while discontinuing or reducing investment in others. In part, option-based planning is the opposite of traditional planning. Holding options gives you choices. Top management is responsible for developing long-term strategic plans that make clear on how the company will serve customers and position itself against competitors in the next 2 to 5 years. Strategic planning begins with the creation of an organizational purpose. The strategic objective, which flows from purpose, is more specific goals that unifies company-wide efforts. It stretches and challenges the organization and possesses a finish line and a time frame. Middle management is responsible for developing and carrying out tactical plans to accomplish the organization's strategic objective. Tactical plans and objectives are used to direct behavior, efforts, and attention over the next six months to 2 years. Management by objectives is a 4-step process in which managers and their employers carry out tactical plans. They first discuss the possible goals, collectively select goals that are challenging, attainable, and consistent with the company's overall goals. Jointly develop tactical plans that lead to accomplishment of tactical goals and objectives, and they meet regularly to review progress towards accomplishment of these goals. Lower-level managers are responsible for developing and carrying out operational plans, which are the day-to-day plans for producing or delivering the organization's products and services. There are 3 types of of operational plans, single-use plans, standing plans, and budgets. Single-use plans deal with unique, one-time only events. Standing plans can be used repeatedly to handle frequent recurring events, such as policies, procedures, rules, and regulations. Budget force managers to decide how to allocate available money to the best accomplish company goals. Rational decision-making is a systematic process in which managers define problems, evaluate alternatives, and choose optimal solutions that provide maximum benefits to the organization. The first step in the decision-making process is identifying and defining the problem. A problem exists where there is a gap between a desired state, what is wanted, and the existing state, the situation the people are actually facing. Requirements for managers to make a decision to solve the problem. Managers have to be aware of the gap. Managers have to be motivated to reduce the gap between a desired and existing state. Managers must also have the knowledge, skills, and abilities and resources to fix the problem. Decision criteria are the standards used to guide judgments and decisions. Typically, the more criteria a potential solution meets, the better the solution will be. The next step in deciding which criteria are more or less important. Several methods to weigh criteria can be used. Absolute comparison, where each criterion is compared to the standard or is ranked on its own merits. Relative comparison, each criterion is compared directly with each other's criterion. The next step is to identify the possible course of action that could solve the problem. The idea is to generate as many alternatives as possible. The final step in the decision-making process is to compute the optimal decision by determining the optimal value of each alternative. Multiply the ratings for each criterion by the weight for that criterion and then sum the score for each alternative course of action that you generated. When possible, managers should follow all the steps to make better decisions. In theory, fully rational decision makers maximize decisions by choosing the optimal solution. Satisfying is choosing a good enough alternative. Groups can do a much better job than individuals in two important steps of the decision-making process, defining the problem and generating alternative solutions. Group decision-making is subjected to some pitfalls, such as groupthink, time requirements, one person dominates the discussion, and equality bias. Most people view conflict negatively. There are two types of conflict. C-type conflict or cognitive conflict focuses on problem and issue-related differences of opinion. A-type conflict, meaning affective conflict, refers to emotional reaction that can occur when disagreements become personal rather than professional. Two methods can be used to create C-type conflict. The devil's advocacy approach assigns an individual or subgroup the role of being critical. Dialectical inquiry approach focuses decision makers to state the assumptions of the proposed solution, a thesis, and then generate a solution of the opposite, the antithesis, of the proposed solution. The nominal group technique improves group decision-making by decreasing A-type conflict. It also restricts C-type conflict. The results are poorer than the devil's advocacy and dialectic inquiry approaches, but they are better than traditional group results. In the Delphi technique, the members of a panel of experts respond to questions and to each other's until reaching agreement on an issue. It uses a series of steps and some repetition. Assembling a panel of experts, it is necessary to bring a panel of members together in one place. Create a questionnaire consisting of a series of open-ended questions for the group. The group members' written responses are analyzed, summarized, and fed back to the group for reactions until the members reach an agreement. Brainstorming, in which group members build on others' ideas, is a technique for generating a large number of alternative solutions. Brainstorming has 4 rules. The more ideas, the better. All ideas are acceptable, no matter how wild or crazy they might seem. Other group members' ideas should be used to come up with even more ideas. Criticism or evaluation of ideas is not allowed. Electronic brainstorming, in which group members use computers to communicate and generate alternative solutions, overcomes the disadvantages associated with face-to-face brainstorming. Production blocking occurs when someone else suggests your ideas. Evaluation apprehension occurs when participants are afraid of what others will think. Electronic brainstorming has disadvantages as well. Electronic equipment can be expensive. Ideas are created anonymously, and people may not be able to express themselves clearly in writing. Participants may be able to type more quickly. As always, I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to this lecture. If you have any questions about the course content or the assignments, don't hesitate to reach out to me.